shit. No. No. Fuck. No, stop. That took a minute, actually, literally. Hello, what's going on, my gems? It's me, Simon, again. This is the second time I'm watching Chris Chan stuff today, so, yeah. I just want to get this done fast. Like, quick, if you know what I mean. Not CWC quick, but, like, QUICK quick. You know. Anyways, let's get this pooping party started. I did not get my scholarship to fail, okay? Also, I'm gonna lose my scholarship if I fail. The screen going black lasted a little longer than usual, I for some reason noticed. Oh, God. It's getting so much worse. What? I don't know. What is the action? I don't know. Fuck.
What just fascinated?
What keeps fascinating? I don't fucking know what keeps fascinating. Fuck.
This is the story of Chris Chan.
Fuck me. I don't even know if it's a story of anyone at this point. Jesus Christ. What the fuck, man? Jesus Christ. 1.5 speed, because I need to get this done fast. How long is this? Okay.
2020. Sonichu, allegedly still possessing Christine's body, secured an upcoming interview opportunity with The Create Unknown, a weekly podcast hosted by Kevin Lieber and Matthew Tabor, who aimed to have conversations with notable online creators.
Fine.
Not, leader of the Watchmen,
That
requested
fucking
to hold
picture
a
is
private question
me
and answer session
watching
that
this
will
whole
be
thing.
recorded by Not to
And
test
I'm literally
October 18th, Sonichu answered
like 6 parts away from the fucking jail saga. I'm scared.
Not recording failed, and so Sonichu was asked to record the questions and answers himself at a future date. On
I can't
October 21st,
see.
Chris at Sonichu announced into the Play's Discord server that the so-called "it" was happening, further elaborating that he was referring to foretold dimensional breaches.
Isn't that what
magical
happened in
happenings,
Ring
as the electricity
The
temporarily
It?
going out in
Now, I don't mean it as in the horror movie.
On
by
October
Stephen
22nd,
King. I
Chris
mean,
at Sonichu wrote a long Twitter thread regarding his yet
as in the
unpublished
monster
video
in Ring
sermon
on Top.
recorded by the merchandising
God
team
damn it.
Prater at
Wrong
Goochland's public
board.
library, largely copying and pasting the script into the tweets.
There you go.
The next day, in the place, Sonichu recounted that he enacted a near half-hour-long ritual in Chris's room because resonances, visions, and psychic feelings were strong all day. He played a
Guys are on
entertaining
drugs,
meditation
bro.
audio track in the background as he used special crystals, magical rocks, and a ritualistically modified mirror to meditate deeply and move her hands in certain ways
Crystal
in an attempt
meth?
to dismantle the Iron Curtain, dividing the two sister dimensions. He concluded
She's
the
gonna
session
have a
at
kid
midnight
named
by
Crystal
dancing to the main
Methany.
theme song of the game, Sonic Adventure 2, Live and Learn by Crash 40.
Methany Martinez.
On October 24th,
That was so
the
bad.
user drew Christine in a realistic and unflattering way, asking her Twitter account what she thought of it. Seemingly, Chris replied to state that the drawing was "ite." On October 26th, Sonichu re-recorded his Q&A session on Christine's device using the audio editing application Audacity and sent the recording to Not.
I went over those questions that I had previously answered from Lane Chew, but that audio recording didn't quite go through, so I'm going to answer these questions once again. Over a year ago, a video that showed you yelling at a toilet and asking where Crystal went leaked out to the internet. What led to the creation of this video, and why was it recorded? You can blame frickin' Idea Guy / Joshua Wise for that, because he had told Mama that we Sonichus and Roshus did not like using the toilet, treat it like an enemy, which that is not true. We respect and use the toilet when we are civilized. And Rosie and I, among us specials, and the rest of us who actually live in a domicile, we respect and are domesticated.
Oh my
So
fucking
that was
god.
just manipulation of Idea Guy. That was the reasoning behind that. Dear Christine and Sonichu, what's your favorite thing about Quickville? Well, Mama's favorite thing about Quickville, obviously, well, she really likes the shopping mall. That was among the best buildings she actually
The
put a
Fashion
whole
Square
lot
Mall?
of soul and dedication into.
Oh, in
And then also
Quickville.
later on, that got reflected
I'm
into
so
our
stupid.
main facility of Quickville.
Ah! God, I almost twisted my frickin' big toe.
I mean, at the aspect I like running through the entire city, just having that freedom and ability. Just the streets are usually cool runnings for me, and I can run on the buildings and everything. So that's one of my favorite things about Quickfield. I get running freedom on the roads, and the skies look great. And I love the park also. The mall's cool though. Just throwing that in there as a bonus.
Okay, open.
Dear Christine, if you could meet one famous person, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Well, it was a short list of a long list, because Mama has a lot of past and present celebrities that she would love to meet and hang out with.
My Little Pony?
Red Skelton, he's a funny comedian. She really likes him on that. And Lucille Ball, another funny comedian. She has lots of respect for her as well. Well, she would love to meet Betty White. There's also, of course, Britney Spears.
Oh,
Amy
rest
Jo
in
Johnson,
peace,
who played
Betty White.
Who originally played the Pink Ranger on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Dead for a while.
Kelsey Grammer. Oh yeah, and Pamela Anderson, to name another. Dear Christine, what do you believe was the coolest thing you've done as a child? I'd say the coolest thing she ever done was, and only a few weeks old,
Why did I add speech
old,
to this?
she said the word monkey, as opposed to mommy, or even possibly as opposed to Magi, as in Magi-chan. And then, of course, after that, because of the autism, about 1.5 years old, she stopped talking, but then she regained her ability to talk about 7 years old, and that's been a really cool thing. Well, Megan, I guess another cool thing you could say she's also done was win that $1,000 shopping spree at KB Toys thanks to my son, Sonic the Hedgehog, and his Watch You Win sweepstakes, sponsored by Sega.
Yep.
Next question.
It was around this time that wannabe troll Isabella Loretta Janke got in touch with Prater, who then allowed her to get in contact with Christine or Sonichu personally. After some unknown discussion, Sonichu commissioned Bella to create an intro of a hypothetical cartoon series focusing on Christine's adventures. He messaged Bella with the specifications for the animation, noting that it should look like a magical girl transformation sequence as seen in many Japanese anime, such as Sailor Moon. On October 28th, Sonichu was interviewed through Discord by the hosts of the Create Unknown podcast, while watched live by their paying Patreon supporters, with Watchmen Anaxis and Nova allowed to join and quietly observe the conversation, serving as mediators. Anaxis was also recording the conversation, which allowed for the Create Unknown YouTube channel to upload the uncut recording as an unlisted video at a later time.
I'm really slacking behind with the Christian upload, like uploading wise. Uploading wise,
that's
like
Sonichu you're talking to, you know, yeah. Christine and I
but I've been pumping them out like Nick Cannon pumping out children, baby. I'm telling you.
You're talking with Sonichu here.
That's going to be the question that I ask you when I'm done with the intro, and you can explain that for everybody who's just heard about you. That's perfect. Every civilization has its defining epic hero. Those personas who
I burp a lot when I drink
and who traverse the singularly difficult problems of existence, and through whose struggles and triumphs we see a little bit of the best of ourselves. The Greeks had Achilles. The Greeks and the Romans had Aeneas. The Britons had King Arthur. Citizens of the internet have Mrs. Christine Weston Chandler. And her own evolution is so packed full of details that one YouTube creator has a perpetual documentary series called Christianity Comprehensive History.
The self-shout-out again, I see.
Just 2 weeks ago, episode 44 in that series was released.
Dang.
Christine may be the most tracked figure on the internet, and that has led to over a decade of doxing, trolling, and harassment on a nearly unfathomable scale. She's faced shocking adversity, including unfortunate incidents at a GameStop, identity theft, the death of her father Bob, and her house, and nearly all possessions being destroyed by fire. Yet Christine has rebuilt, she continues to create, and she continues to evolve. Now, Christine, what would you like us to call you?
Yes, you have the body of Christine Chandler, also known as Christian Sonichu here. You got me, Sonichu, who can speak on behalf of Mama and her memories. You can still use female pronouns, heavily, all things considered. Just wanted to make that clear.
So what was the origin of the medallion? How did you come up with that idea?
Well, this noggin literally has the eternal, all of its life it's had linked to...
I want access to my microphone on here. It's going to fuck up the thing.
Fictional characters. We reside in this dimension. It's called C197. We stand and walk and talk right next to y'all, and yet y'all don't notice it, except for the very creative and psychically able. And Mama's had that all her life, and she was able to link with her self-counterpart, our Christine Chan, as she's known nowadays, to differentiate from Chris Chan.
Shut the fuck up!
And, hang on. All right, we're done.
I mean, it's very famous. A lot of people know about your history with, and Matt mentioned it in the intro, just years and years of kind of being targeted and the doxing and the X's and everything. How have you been able to handle that? How have you been able to bounce back over the years and still create online and still want to make more stuff online, having been subjected to that stuff over the years?
One moment and one day at a time.
On October 30th, Sonichu livestreamed his reaction to watching the 6th and final episode of the My Little Pony-themed animated series Analysis Anarchy, Red vs. Blue.
I've been pretty much living a very active lifestyle. I mean, not everybody's able to do that. I mean, the most active anybody can get with their boring settings upon all things considered, and I'm not stereotyping anybody or whatever, but yeah, I'm essentially recreational exercising, running on a treadmill, lifting weights, so on and so forth. I mean, not everybody's got to be tough, durable, and able. And then there's the 1% or less that, just destined to be overpowered and immortal and everything. So the work that Mama does in this thing, it's very difficult. It's like literally custom tailor-made for only her.
Okay.
I thought I could do it, but obviously too much for me and my overpowered lightning speed and everything, and as much mentality and intelligence as I got would help everybody. So there's that.
It's time to shake legs and chew bubble.
Not a bubble gum.
The fuck?
Yum, yum, yum. What flavor? Blueberry. But it's blue. Translation? You're chicken! I'm quiet.
On November 3rd, Sonichu and Barbara went to vote in the US presidential election. Over Discord, Sonichu told Lanchu that Barbara had voted for someone other than incumbent President Donald Trump, while Sonichu himself voted for The Simpsons character Lisa Simpson, since it was supposedly predicted in the cartoon series that she would become president after Trump finished his term. The next day, the alleged Sonichu answered a batch of 10 fan-submitted questions that were provided to him by Watchmen Anaxis, playing the part of Lanchu. Sonichu noted that he and Chris had mixed feelings about Chris Chan being the reason for the creation of the Kiwi Farms website, as even though there was resentment and hurt because of the site, it did spawn a great number of creative individuals, as well as host useful information and intel. He then noted that Christine had experienced paranormal entities, such as ghosts, numerous times, like in the aftermath of Chris's aunt Karina's death in February 2009, when all his past ancestors appeared to wish him well on his trip to Cleveland, Ohio, to rescue his purported love interest, Julie, from the troll Clyde Cash. He also elaborated suggesting to being in Christine's body since she was much taller than Sonichu, and expressed his disappointment with the limitations of the of 18 and his inability to run as fast as
even I'm shorter than Sonichu, I swear I'm snapping my neck
watching
open.
the long-form YouTube documentary series made by Watchmen, the WCT, which focused on lolcow and mass shooter Randy Stair, who had believed in an alternate dimension where original characters based on the universe of the cartoon series, Danny Phantom, in addition to the character Amber McLean, mass shooting upon his reincarnation as his so-called Ghost Sona, the transgender.
He shot up someplace.
Stair had gone on to kill 3 people at a supermarket in Pennsylvania before killing himself in 2017.
He sounds very
on November
familiar.
6th, the supposed Sonichu posted a tweet thread on Twitter mentioning Randy Stair's alter persona, Andrew Blaze.
I could have sworn I've heard
hey
of
everyone,
him, but I
Sonichu
can't
here.
really.
Just to let you know, but on the fact that after more than 7 months, I
don't remember if I've actually heard of him or not. I don't fucking know.
That
Randy fucker.
Myself with this body safely and well into C197
really huge on Danny Phantom.
Possible in the remainder of this timeline. Until
became a mass shooter.
After Mama and I finally switched back into new timeline.
If I haven't, then I've definitely heard of it now.
Interviews are doable, but all scheduling and setting up is to be done through Null himself.
Shit, can you
I will not
even
be able
see past my
to personally respond to any inquiries during this time. If you want something in comparison to what Mama and I have been going through, you can look up Miss Andrew Blaze and look up what she went through in communicating with her OCs in the spiritual realm between our dimensions 12, 18, and C197, as well as into and with C197. But instead of mass murder or suicide, we have no intention of getting our Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu involved in any of that, and this body is to remain alive for millions of years or so. Not gonna be offing this body any time, period. So you all have no need or concern to make up such theories on the contrary. Also, the fact that a lot of you make correlations between Mama and other online celebs that she had never ever known or personally met beforehand. Static. Not cool. I pray to Mama and all of the other deities that each and every individual in this dimension understands that. Thanks. Lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt emojis. Sonichu then shared an audio recording with WCT, which purported to document Randy Stair's possession of Christine's body.
It's Sonichu here. I'm doing this audio recording for you because I got a valuable friend here who has a very important message for you. She came all the way from the netherworld, pretty much the ghost world. She just watched all your videos about her, and she just appreciates you very much on having been a fan and understanding what she was going through. Anyway, she's in this body with me, so I'm gonna let her speak now. This is Randy Stair, Andrew Blaze. Yo, Wildcat. So rad. I have in the body of Chris Chan here. I've been living 3 years gone from this world.
Fuck.
You would say that that's just too long for anyone, right? I know. But at least you got the message I was going for. I mean, shoot, people have been getting injured or dying around me all my life. So, how else was I to react with my mental handicaps and everything? But yeah, I came out totally woman and everything. I mean, yeah, the transition was definitely genuine with me. I just didn't go for the bottom. I mean, didn't have enough time to do that anyway, all things considered. But yeah, message from that mass suicide murder thing I did that time was essentially just, me recruiting for my EGS, for my Ghost Squad. I mean, it was quite a thing. I mean, shoot, killed myself, and I went into limbo, and I didn't last long in limbo because Ember found me there, and she brought me to the dead world, But yeah, everybody who's been dying within the past few months or so has definitely been ending up in their respective counterparts' bodies in the opposite dimension. The merge is happening just as Chris Chan and Sonichu and Magic Chan and everyone else have been saying, and we all in the ghost world have been just witnessing all of the ghosts just not stopping into limbo, just going into the other dimension. And I have seen into dimension C197 while I was alive as well, not just the dead world, I mean, I had my share of righteous visions into other dimensions and whatnot, and that's borrowing from the dialogue that's in this brain. I mean, that's the thing, when you possess somebody else's body, you gotta work within their vocabulary and their limitations and whatever. But still, it's me, Randy Stair. I mean, you can tell from the way I'm talking here. I mean, I definitely found myself after I passed on, obviously. And I'm happy. I'm doing good. You could say I was definitely one of the earlier noted examples of somebody coming from 1218 to C197, or in this case, the ghost dimension in between our two dimensions, which that's just far out. Anyway, the merge is going to happen, and Chris Chan's powers and abilities are genuine. She's even got a whole bunch of other ghosts and spirits helping her out as well. It's a real chill group around here at this temple, this house. You call this house a temple? Huh. Well, I guess it is true. This is sort of temple-like. Wildcat, thank you so much for chronicling as much of my life as possible with everything that I've talked about and I uploaded onto the internet. You rock, dude. You stay awesome. You're gonna be alive for a very, very long time, man. Alright. Anyway, take care. Thank you. Well, she's definitely satisfied.
Okay, then.
Well, there you go, Randy. Thank you for sharing your message, and well, at least you got to listen to that. So, I mean, it's not necessarily an interview with Randy herself, but
like,
you might get to talk with her in person yet. But that'll do for now, I suppose. All right.
So she was just talking to herself. Okay, maybe I just didn't pay attention earlier.
On November 8th, Christine's YouTube account published Sonichu's Boochland Public Library sermon, as edited by Prater, which led to the revelation of most of the true identities of the organization's members by Kiwi Farms. On November 12th, a user of the film and television-themed message board on the site 4chan created a thread claiming that they were in contact with Chris Chan and were asking for suggestions on how to best take advantage of her. They further shared that there was a possible group of individuals, including the poster, who were striving to encourage her to join a cult, in addition to convincing her that certain Japanese anime and games were real. They shared screenshots of their text conversations, during which they played online chess, noting that Chris was better at chess and checkers than the average person. It is theorized that this person was Bella Jank, who had an affinity for chess, being an administrator of the apparent official Discord server for the chess club of her university, Texas Tech University. The next day, Chris or Sonichu posted the completed animation created by Bella on Christine's YouTube channel, with Chris and Sonichu providing lead vocals for the theme music.
Yeah, she's terrible, I'm sorry.
When asked, Sonichu elaborated on Twitter that the animation would serve as a new introduction for all Chris's future YouTube videos. On November 15th, Prater went to Instagram to share a screenshot of two of their online purchases, a plastic Pikachu mask and a taser, hinting that they would be used in a future video.
What the
During this
hell?
time,
It has
the
to
supposed
be.
Sonichu became involved with the community of Sonic World, a fan-made video game that had the ability of being heavily customizable with the use of fan-made mods. Chris's Discord account had joined the official Sonic World DX Lounge server, and Sonichu began requesting that people create a mod that would enable him and others to play as Sonichu, as well as other notable characters such as Christian Sonichu and Rosechu. On November 16th, Sonichu found a Sonichu mod created by ones Cirrus Fire and Sacktree in 2017, and asked in the Discord for their contact details to express his gratitude to them. A day later, Sonichu shared an audio clip in which he recites an array of lines of dialogue from Sonichu, Rosechu, Magichan, and Christian Sonichu, implying the voice samples were to be utilized by game modders to insert his voice acting into the game.
Let's zap it up. Zap it to the extreme. I do it for my friends. I do it for my mama. I pledge my loyalty to Christian. If only Rosie was here. Hey, love. Hello. Ah! Let's go. I do it for my family and my loved ones. Take that. I'll kick your ass. What do you think you're doing? No! Yay! My wisdom knows no bounds. I have seen the future. Telekinesis levitate. I got all the psychic powers. I see danger up ahead. Be aware of the glitch. Time to zap it up. Krakow. I ain't missing out on this. Take that. Zapping it up. Woohoo! Yay!
Sonichu would go on to change Christine's Twitter profile photo to the Sonic World model of Sonichu, and shared to the Sonichu mod on Twitter. Also on November 17th, Christine's Twitter account unblocked Jacob Sockness. Sockness then went to the Christian worshipping subreddit Cult of Quick to post about the update, metaphorically writing that she could put her key in the door that was himself, that could open up to the dimensional merge. Jacob further wrote in his own subreddit, Hidasuna, that he would apologize to Chris, and claimed that Chris's return was a result of his magical powers, which he used to gain back numerous friends in his life. Over on the Play's Discord server, Sonichu in Christian's body wrote that he had unblocked Sockness because he wanted to know what plans he was possibly scheming. The Watchman disapproved of his actions, as Watchman Kyle, or Nova, volunteered himself to keep tabs on Sockness instead of Sonichu. When asked why would Jacob need to be carefully observed, Sonichu reflected back to one of his past rituals, in which he attempted to summon Christine via a DIY golem in his home in San Francisco, California. While the ritual failed its intended purpose, Sonichu claimed that it resulted in summoning a mass number of Christian doppelgangers, or Chris's biologically unrelated physical lookalikes, that were all born into Dimension 1218 on February 24th, 1982, Christopher's birth date. He noted that past troll, Liquid Chris, was one of such doppelgangers. Nova reasoned that Christine's noted facial blindness may have caused her to think that there were many individuals around her that looked like her. As the Watchman continued to chastise Sonichu and emphasize that Jacob Sockness was an idiot who could neither do nor say anything of note, Sonichu reblocked his account and cried to dismiss the subject of conversation. On November 18th, the Crimson Libertarian, a Christian follower, asked Sonichu over Twitter if he could read and review their webcomic focusing on Christian's earlier years in Manchester High School. Sonichu agreed and asked to be sent to the pages for consideration. About 4 hours later, he posted a YouTube video reading through and critiquing the fanfiction story.
I'm going to be taking a look at a rough draft of a fanfic, or possibly a retelling of a past event. Anyway, it's based on Mama's real-life event, finding Bionic the Hedgehog back in high school days and so forth. But anyway, my friend Sonichu, based on the life and works of... She doesn't go by Christine anymore. She goes by Christine, all right? Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu is her full name. My wife is Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu. Alright? So this guy opens up with black screen with white says, Manchester High School, November 13th, 1996. Thursday. Do you look at a calendar for this? I hope he looks at a calendar for this. He better don't check. Top of this page reads Dodge. Why am I dodging? I fade in. Sitting on a bench wearing a sweatshirt displaying the Manchester High School Lancers team emblem is the somewhat overweight, even at that age, water boy. Chris.
You were just a water boy.
No, it's Christian back then, but she was not overweight at all. She was actually a slender, slim body type. She was not overweight.
You were not lean.
Fat. Remove that word. Fuck. Slender, even at that age, water boy Chris. Alright? So there's your first edit right there. Chris stands up from a log that he was sitting on and walks through the brush where he eventually comes to a clearing. He gazes across the clearing, and there he sees the classic Green Hill Zone level. Green Hill Zone area. You know, it's the area. It's not just a level. It's part of the whole entire area. Classic Green Hill Zone level in the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. Parentheses, yes, really. Really, yes, really, yeah, really. Chris Fangasming. Fangasming. That's a word.
Fangasming.
Oh my god, it's beautiful as it was on the TV. Look at this. Chris stands there, mouth agape, but is suddenly distracted by something moving from left to right. Close-up shot of the Sega mascot moving around at the speed of sound. I wonder who this could be. Yeah. Flick pan over to shot to Joseph Herring. Chris, watch out. Chris goes over the court, gets hit in the face with a basketball, which knocks him face first into the ground. The team goes over to see if he's okay, and Chris begins to spastically cry like an autistic baby. The autistic baby. Don't insult Mama like that. Don't insult her like that. You can say Chris begins to spastically cry. I'm looking at you. And Chris nods, stands to go to the boys' locker room. Just to clarify, Mama didn't technically change clothes. She pretty much wore what she wore throughout the day as normal. I mean, it's not like she had a basketball outfit to change into, just because, doing her job as manager, okay? Her job as manager. Suddenly, out of the blue, standing behind the locker door, a 3'3" bright orange man from
No, the water boy's not a manager.
Suddenly, out of the blue, standing behind the locker, hate the hedgehog. What? You need the word appears at the end. The bright orange anthropomorphic hedgehog appears. Obviously revealed to be bionic because my tagline, bionic. And now, Chris is then started on Let's Out and autistic screech. Let's out a screech. A screech. Remove the autistic. Let's out a screech of fear. In the process of screaming and defecating on his. You do not need that last part. In the process of screaming, Chris hits his head on the locker door by accident and falls to locker room 4.
Okay,
I'm
what the
looking
fuck?
at you again. Defecating yourself. I'll punch you in the face for that!
Oh, okay.
Alright, internal Manchester High School gymnasium afternoon. Chris escorted Bionic to the gymnasium and hopes to God that he's actually good at basketball, so I won't be caught out on his bullshit. I feel like that ought to be Chris escorted Bionic to the gymnasium and hope to God that he's actually good at basketball, and is right on finding that out. You're not calling out bullshit. There's no bullshit to be called out. It's fact. Alright, so that was a stupid statement to make. But in a series of three-pointers, making shot after shot after shot, it
Of course,
turns
you
out
have
the
a
little
fucking
orange...
dream catcher.
Not a bastard! You're not a bastard! Don't say bastard! It turns out the little orange hedgehog knows how to shoot. Alright? Let's take these items seriously. I'm giving them to you. And Chris walks out of the gymnasium, shutting off the lights on his way out through the set of doors. Didn't need to shut off the lights because didn't know where the light switch is. Didn't know where the light switch was. Plus, the custodian takes care of that. The door shuts as the afternoon sun casts a shadow on the lone basketball for the gymnasium's window. Awkward silence, fade out. Alright, so anyway, so that's my 2 bolts. You could do better on this, Crimson Libertarian. You could do better on this. Take everything I said and apply it to your writing, alright? Anyway, thank you for sharing this, and have a good day. Be safe. Thank you.
In the video's aftermath, Sonichu tried to contact the writer over Twitter, but they deleted their original tweet calling for his attention, and soon after blocked Christine's account. On November 22nd, Sonichu wrote in the place that he had fallen under a couple of trances and had seen some visions, including one of the near future. It involved one of Chris's doppelgangers, who was working in Manchester High School. He was supposedly to do something in front of other students before passing away, and his energy and power would flow into Christine's body, allowing it to become overpowered enough to break the Iron Curtain. The Watchman found the premonition to be morbid, with Sonichu clarifying that the event would be mostly good, but it would include Chris's doppelganger dying of unspecified causes in front of a group of students. With a dimensional merge perpetually approaching, but never arriving, Christine reached out to any conceivable source of media that could reassure her that her reveries would come true, seeking guidance in Randy Steer's history, and twisting past events to make them fit into her personal reality. Though as hard as the Watchmen may have tried to keep her grounded, they were powerless to stop her wandering mind from leading her into troubles that they could never imagine.
Stop fucking following you twice! Shit, I'm becoming a lolcow. The fact that this series went from internet character study to a true crime series is just horrific. The fact that Chris genuinely and unironically roleplayed and pretended to be a mass shooter is genuinely so concerning. I know that's creepy. All just to affirm the existence of the merge. Ugh, God. Seeing Isabella Janke being briefly mentioned is like replaying a murder mystery game when you already know who the final villain is. Literally, this is how it feels rewatching a gameplay of Murder House by Puppet Combo. I swear to God. The fucking twist at the end was insane. The actual, like, murder, it's fucking insane. You just don't expect it. Chris calling himself Mama is personally one of the most uncomfortable things to me. Chris pretending to be possessed by a mass shooter is not something I wanted or expected to learn about today. Kind of wild how Sonichu went from a bad comic ripoff of Sega characters to a conduit through which mentally ill mass shooters speak from hell. Since I'm a dumbass, I'm gonna look up how do you say it.
Conduit.
Conduit. I was pretty much right. Okay. Hearing Isabella's name finally being uttered in this documentary is the wildest thing ever. Not only because it's a harbinger of what's right around the corner, but also knowing that she's probably one of the vilest, most demented, and evil people that came into contact with Chris. Shut the fuck up! I love how his vote for Lisa Simpson will have been logged as a spoiled ballot and assumed to be some form of satirical political protest when it's actually just his reality issues. Chris' rapidly declining maturity and rapidly inflated ego makes these interviews and tweets insufferable. It's what makes Chris insufferable. Worst nightmare is dying and finding out Chris was right all along. If I had a nickel for every time Chris Chan added a real-life murderer to the Sonichu canon, I have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but a weird it happened twice. Bella is such a good example of the saying, when you point your finger, 3 point back at you. Oh yeah. She tried to troll the lolcow and she became a lolcow herself. Oh my god. This feels like watching Better Call Saul and seeing it slowly reach into Breaking Bad's timeline. The fact that he is probably watching this again like a Saturday morning cartoon, glorifying himself with no awareness of wrongdoing on this part concerning what he did to his mother is absolutely sickening. I gotta give Gino props as usual. Chris stopped being funny or interesting 40 episodes ago, but Gino is entertaining enough to keep me watching even after Chris became weird and annoying. Okay, I can't fucking do this. Okay, next one. We're on part 80, baby. How distorted does it get? Dang! Shit, it's horrifying.
This is the story of Chris Chan.
I'm going insane just watching this. Damn, son.
On November 26th, 2020, Sonichu, while still supposedly in possession of Christine's body, wished her followers a happy Thanksgiving holiday, sharing a recent drawing of Sonichu and Rosechu. Also on that day, Sonichu created a new account on Game Banana, a website dedicated to users sharing game customizations and modifications, or mods. He proceeded to upload a mod for the game Sonic World DX, originally created 3 years prior by Cirrusfire and Sacktree, which added Sonichu and other features from Quickfill into the game. Sonichu had further customized the mod himself by changing some icons, music, drawings, and original voice acting. He then shared a download link to it on Chris's Twitter account. The supposed Sonichu then proceeded to record further sound bites for his own character that were to be used in the mod.
Yeah, zap, Krakow. Doing it for Mama Christian and everyone. Here we go. That breeze feels nice. Krakow. Ugh. Woo, feel the breeze. A D? Darn glitch. Holy crap, player. We could have done better. Sweet.
Wait, where are the
paddles? Yes, for Sonchus and Rosechews everywhere.
Sonichu, using Chris's YouTube account, also left a comment on the YouTube video from Cirrusfire, which announced the creation of their Sonichu mod. He expressed his thanks to the pair of developers and noted that there was still room for improvement. Cirrusfire publicly liked, or hearted, the comment. On November 27th, Sonichu over Discord direct messaged OpusCon789, who had written a fanfiction story starring Sonichu, Chris Chan, and YouTuber Project SNT's original character, SNT, which had drawn criticism from Christine in late 2019. When asked by OpusCon of his identity, the alleged Sonichu wrote that it was Chris Chan talking to him and wanted to let the writer know that they were currently reading his sequel to SNT vs. Sonichu and that they were enjoying his fanfiction so far. He then revealed that he was in fact Sonichu, supposedly in Christine's body, and had withheld that fact out of fear of frightening OpusCon789. Sonichu elaborated that the fanfiction chronicled the events of a dimension other than C-197. He corrected some misconceptions found in the story about Chris, and encouraged the writer to watch Christine's read-through of the second half of the original story on YouTube, which OpusCon had seen already. Soon after, the alleged Sonichu suggested to OpusCon789 that he should play the game Sonic World, especially using the mods which added Sonichu as a playable character, which had been apparently improved upon with Sonichu's modifications. The writer declined the suggestion as he was not an avid game enjoyer. On November 28th, Sonichu wrote an extended tweet thread in response to his grievances regarding OpusCon 789's SNT vs Sonichu trilogy of stories. He wrote in part, "Hey, I want you all to just read all of this and listen up, because I, Sonichu Prime, have a lot to talk about right now. Firstly, I'm reading OpusCon 789's fanfics, and, hoo boy, do I have my fair share of grief against him, but moreover on all of the haters in this dimension, who have been talking nothing but smack against our one and only OG OC of all OCs, Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu. You all are stuck on past, outdated notions and ideals that she has literally personally repented, felt bad in doing, and moved on for the most part. Chris is not a freaking narcissist that you lot make her out to be. She does not objectify women or whoever else. She used to, sure, but that was years ago. She has grown up and matured since then. She is not a freaking man-child that you all want to hold in your memories." That is bull. And in response, Chris actually appreciates all of the amendments, including everyone having rights to bear arms, and she always has been for universal health care for everyone, including Obamacare. Sure, you all think someone like #Billy Mays would make for a good leader, but I got news for you all. In the few short months he was mayor of Quickville, he was a major do-nothing and had nothing in his brain about politics. And there are such things as electoral votes within the offices. It is not freaking 5,000 to 1, freaking kangaroo. And Chris is not freaking fat. She has slimmed down, and she has breasts, which, let's face facts, all boobs are blobs of fat, but they exist, regardless of gender. Whoop-de-doo. And another thing, do you all know when was the actual last time Chris went out looking for a sweetheart? Years. The last one and over with was that freaking fat fetish troll. Ever since, she has not sought anyone, and her mind has not been on sex for most of nearly a decade.
Damn.
Why the hell do all of you humans focus so much on freaking sex and all of the negative things within that, and force those labels onto others? Stop projecting yourselves and your fetishes onto others. That is just plain dumb. Nobody wants that. Let's take a moment to bring up Evan George, that ungrateful hater troll. He may have discovered Simonchu. Simon, not Simonla, but as Simonchu was still actually a sibling with Simonla, it is still valid.
Please
it is
stop
not a
saying
freaking
it as
uninspired
Simonchu,
copy-paste, slightly
please.
modify and regenerate.
It's weird.
They both already were existing long before either Evan or Chris discovered either of them, and they both called their physical appearances and features as they saw them. Now, Simonla's and Wild's daughter, Sandy. She is not bloodthirsty or epic violent. She is more tame than that, and has good self-control. That one time that Chris in this dimension ended up chronicling, they had good reasons, as those haters nearly killed her mom. It's still just as traumatizing, and Wild Sonichu does not have a country bumpkin accent. His voice and accent is the same as Peter Quinn of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which can sequence well into the next topic, the relationship and workload share between Rosie and I, Sonichu Prime, literally have done more than half of the chores around the house during the free time when we are not out defending the city and whatnot. I clean up the entire house with the vacuum, I do the dishes, I even cook, and the food is delicious. And Rosie is not a sex object. That BDSM thing in Book 9 was her idea. I did not put her up to it at all. It was a fun experiment between her and I, nothing more. And as Chris did end up chronicling in Book 15 and others, I actually listened well when talking with Rosie about her problems. I helped her with her feelings and frustrations, and boy did we both have frustrations over the recent months, since we were near, yet so far between dimension. She felt lonely, as did I, but now she is here in this dimension with me, fully, safely, and well with her body. I still need to get myself and this body to Quickville, true, but that return portal is still very difficult to manifest from the side of the Iron Curtain, and Jacob Sockness and his cronies are completely unable to manifest one either.
What?
Off note, we have fire departments in Quickville. Bubbles is not the fire department. Again, that's a Sanin. And Christine Chan never dozed off or was lazy in her work over her time as mayor and defender of Quickville at all. She has worked very diligently and hard on her decision-making and political tasks, in addition to the heroic duties as well. Yeah, the sweetheart search. That was still a thing with her, but she always failed because of the chronicler clause Chris employed retroactively in 2018, and Christine Chen lost interest in the sweetheart search after 2010, when she literally and magically transformed fully and permanently from male body to female body with all of the parts, and very little body hair on her human form. Speaking of our dimension, once again, OpusCon 987 ended up not accessing C197 in his fanfics. He accessed another distant dimension, different from C197, where there, everything is just as all of you haters perceived of us, but we are not. And that merge was between 1218 and that dimension, and SNT was taken away from C197, and so were the rest of us. Fortunately, it ended up becoming completely undone, but our memories still meshed with our respective self-counterparts there, and that was no fun. One last thing I want to point out about all of you bad trolls and hater types, including OpusCon himself. I'm just as surprised as all of you that Chris, in all of her wisdom, she is literally intelligent and bright. Never call her dumb or stupid again. Still cares about all of you alongside the remainder of the population in this dimension, who are the opposite of you lot. She sees the remaining benefits and genuine deep good in all of you. She is not dense or blind to all of y'all's faults, but the respect is there. Also, post-merge, the world will not be a Christian-run world. Christine literally works with all of the other deities, and they all have priority governing and protection over their nations and domains, respectively. A mayor is still present in Quickville for the lower political activities, but since we have a literal goddess with our OG Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu, and while she participates in the politics, she mainly works hard in greater laws, helping the citizens, city and nation improvements, and all of that. Same as Noir or Vert would do in Last Station and Lowy, and all of the other cross-nation aids and work as well, diplomacies included. Sigh, not sign, as Opus would spell it. But I've let out all of my frustrations for the time being. I pray to Christian and all of the other deities, all of you will actually offer a lot less hatred and misjudgment upon her, and the rest of us and the dimension merge, and a lot more kindness and understanding. Sonichu. P.S. You may retweet all of that above, or whatever. With all of the hazers in this dimension, I feel like you all do not deserve the gods and goddesses, including Christian Sonichu herself, that have been helping and guiding all of you over all of this time. Also to add, in regards to our music, literature, video entertainment, and so on, in Quickfill, it is not limited. The media we have is not only local and favorited, but also imported, exported, and a whole bunch that you all have here, and everything else we have in our world. From all around the world, and even throughout the universe, to go touting that on every channel.
Oh my god, why isn't this shit
working? Or nothing but I still need a cute girls playing on the Rido 24/7.
Oh.
That is not the case. We have universe-wide variety.
That's insane.
Also on November 28th, the alleged Sonichu published on the original story publishing platform, Wattpad, a supplemental chapter for SNT vs Sonichu that served as a link between Part 2 and Part 3 of the fanfic, written in response to his displeasure at the storyline, correcting all details that were apparently incorrect in the story. In part, Sonichu reprimanded Opuscon for prioritizing his college studies over correcting the damage his chronicling caused in another dimension's Earth, perceiving the described horrific events and violent deaths as factual events. Opuscon wrote on the QB forums that he intended to not read Christine's story as to not influence his own fanfiction. In the last days of November, Sonichu talked in length to the Watchmen, or members of the Place Discord server, about Opuscon 789 and his story.
Why did I go there?
Sonichu reflected that he wrote his supplemental chapter 2.5 as a means to possibly intimidate Opuscon from writing any further. He considered that the writer was in fact intimidated by him, as he blocked Chris's Wattpad account to prevent Sonichu from reading any more of the story. Sonichu in response then created a new account. Watchman Nova called Sonichu's actions vindictive and petty. The alleged Sonichu reasoned that his vengeful actions were justified, as Opuscon's interdimensional acts of murder and world defacement were comparable to the acts of the Idea Guy. The Watchman disagreed, and hoped to help Sonichu defuse the dispute. Watchman Nod suggested that if Sonichu were to continue to acknowledge the fanfic, it would only validate Opuscon's stories, and, along with Nova, called for him to ignore it. Sonichu in response felt he couldn't, as that would mean the causation of dimensional chaos between dimensions 1218 and C197. Later on, Watchman Maker Nightfeed suggested that Christine could adopt Project SNT, or Courtney's original character, SNT, and use her in her comics. Sonichu stated that currently it would be difficult for Chris to adopt SNT. On December 2nd, seemingly Christine tweeted at Project SNT's account, along with adding Opuscon789 as a hashtag, asking the two if they knew where she was, attaching a drawing of Christian Sonichu and SNT in an altered version of a scene depicted in the fanfic, as an attempt to influence Opuscon's story. A Twitter user called for Chris to stop bothering Courtney, as she did not want to play pretend with her, a plea which Christine memishly and mockingly dismissed.
Obviously.
On December 3rd, Chris's Twitter account liked a posted photo of a plush doll depicting police brutality victim George Floyd wearing a Sonichu medallion. Also on that day, Sonichu wrote in the place of the tremendous financial troubles, with Barbara having less money for herself after automatic collection of overdraft fees and Chris's Patreon earnings for the month amounting to less than $30. The supposed Sonichu considered to cancel some subscriptions to save money, but was confident that during December, Sonichu and Christine's body would fully traverse into C197. The next day, Sonichu told the Watchman that he had logged into Chris's QB Farms account and found Opuscon789's account on the site, reflecting that his replies in regards to their dispute were dismissive. He checked if SNT's creator Courtney had an account on the site, but found that she had none, and learned from Opuscon's comments that she was distancing herself from the SNT vs Sonichu debacle, calling her inaction neurotypical. The Watchman tried to convince Sonichu in Chris's body that his pursuit of Opuscon was not worth the trouble, an opinion Sonichu denied, further writing that after the dimensional merge was complete, Opuscon would be made an example of for his sins against a multitude of dimensions, calling his actions worse than the trollsome acts by Clyde Cash and Blue Spike. On December 4th, Chris as Sonichu answered another batch of questions sent by Watchman and Axis as Lane Chu, after putting the task off for a month. Sonichu revealed Christine's favorite episode of the adult cartoon series, South Park, provided some advice for improving one's drawing skills, and listed her idealized list of cast and crew for a hypothetical Sonichu movie. Concerning her best friends, Sonichu stated that Magichan Sonichu and Sonichu himself were her closest friends in C197. However, in Dimension 1218, her closest friends all eventually moved on with their lives and no longer contacted her. As her top 3 friends, Sonichu listed Sarah Hammer Spicer, Anna McLaren, and Megan Schroeder. Concerning Sarah, he reflected that Chris lost contact with her when she married and moved away from him. Anna, while initially trollsome, became a great friend to Chris, but was scared off from contacting her again after QB Farms administrator, Null, had sent her quote-unquote dumb and stupid threats after Anna failed to help Chris upon finding out that Christine was being manipulated and extorted by the Idea Guys. As for Megan, Sonichu wrote that she may be forgiven for taking advantage of Christian's kindness, generosity, and hormones, possibly referring to asking Chris to buy eBay items on her behalf in exchange for monetary reimbursement or DVDs. Sonichu acknowledged that Christine understood Christian was to blame for his impulsive actions that led to the end of their relationship, and apologized to Megan on Chris's behalf. In conclusion, Sonichu wrote that he would rather not receive any more questions to answer until after January 2021, for he was anticipating returning to Dimension C197, along with Christine's body. On December 6th, over on the Place Discord server, within a channel to which Christine's account had no access, Not and Maker Nightfeed schemed contacting Opuscon789 or finding out his personal information. After Maker sent him a friend request over Discord, Not disclosed to her a list of Opuscon's social media links and accounts on an array of websites, a revelation that Maker termed beautiful. They also ridiculed the fanfic writer for hiring artists for some artwork used in his stories. Knot then shared that he had sent OpusCon a direct message on Kiwi Farms, in which he shared all the social media links he had found. OpusCon then pleaded for him to not look further into his older online activity, as he was younger and admittedly stupid. He took Knot's threat of doxing as a reminder to delete his older accounts, and revealed that he was simply writing his stories for fun, and did not want the attention he was receiving. On December 7th, a Twitter user tweeted at Christine's account, asking for her opinion on the concept art for the hypothetical cartoon series Adventures of Sonichu the Zaphog, inspired by the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog series of 1992, along with lyrics for a proposed theme song. Sonichu, using Chris's account, replied, writing that for the song, the creator should get a female singer and record it, and make it into an MP3 format sound file. 2 days later, the supposed Sonichu recorded more voice parts for his modified Sonichu mod for Sonic World, playing the parts of Magi-chan and Chris-chan Sonichu.
Your mind is moot. No words, only thought. I shall return. My abilities are hardly insurpassable. Levitate. Apex. Keep calm. Ameha!
Courtesy Hama.
Time to answer some prayers.
Okay.
Time to draw these pages up. Hoo-yah!
Jesus.
Another page colored in. Boing! Breathe it in. Zoom. Electric hedgehog power! Yep, we got a C. Mean that up. I've hardly ever earned a D in my education. My brain and my mouth may not sync at times.
Jesus, load it!
On December 10th, Sonichu tweeted that for the Christmas holidays of that year, instead of gifts, he asked for money to be sent directly to Christine's PayPal account if people were so
Stop, I
inclined.
didn't ask to go
He further
there.
sarcastically dismissed possible future trollsome comments from her followers who may accuse her of using the money for Legos or video games, but assured the hypothetical trolls that this time around the money would
Fuck
be used
you.
to keep the family's bank accounts better afloat. The next day, Sonichu, using Christine's Twitter account, advertised the first batch of Sonichu medallions manufactured by Prater, which would be personally approved, certified, and blessed by Chris herself. Sonichu later elaborated that the medallions were replicas made from the cast of the original one, and that some were signed. At around that time, Sonichu began developing a new mod for Sonic World, this time modifying the colors of her pre-existing mod, which added the Dragon Ball Z anime character Kale to the game, making her appear more like human form Chris-chan, both in her classic Chris formation and her modern feminine form. On December 14th, Sonichu recorded voice acting lines for the Sonic World mod, this time playing the parts of Chris-chan of the past and present.
Ameha!
Okay.
What woman?
Really?
Shut up, Julie Blue Spike! Let's rock
Wow.
this 4-cent garbage down!
What the
Don't trust them haters over there! Sing along! Let's go out
I
and
thought it was
set
don't
the
trust them
tree!
new.
Are there any boyfriend-free women out there? If not, that's cool. In the name of love and honesty.
That's crazy!
On
Then the
news today,
stand.
a low cow. Anything is
What?
better than Axe body spray.
That's insane.
Yeah. Zoom. Whoosh.
What the fuck?
Pickle barrel. Revive
Pickle
Zone.
barrel?
Electric hedgehog power. Well, they put my name in a hat and I just won. Don't call me fat. My body is slender. Thank you.
What the
There's John
fuck?
and the Hedgehog boys singing along the rock to a joy. Sonic's arms are not blue. An F in English. Ugh. Another bunch of haters bite the dust. Another
What
one
the
gone, another one
fuck?
gone, another one gone.
That's crazy. This literal
Ameha!
this is actually fan service at
I'll
this
show
point.
you. Chaos control. Taste my aura.
Taste my
Commodore
ass.
64, the pro computer with pro power.
Damn.
Leroy Jenkins. Here's how we do it with
Jinkies.
Byzantine results.
Results. Okay.
Calm mind, clear mind, meditate. Let's go. Ah, a good day between dimensions.
What the hell?
7 rings in my hand.
Okay, Thanos.
On that same day, the supposed
Okay,
Sonichu
Ariana
uploaded the
Grande.
mod
Sorry.
onto Game Banana, which was promptly flagged for spam.
Oh,
Sonichu
man.
wrote in the mod's description, ****. Before you go off typing in the comment section, know that A. I'm fully aware of the mods I've been uploading being essentially texture changes, but they all do have different and new voice clips that you all are missing out on by not being able to download the mods for yourselves. B. I know the pictures are bad. I do not know what button to press on this laptop to screen cap better. If I did, I certainly would have done so already. And C. I know you damned bunch of hater and bad trolls are here on the hunt of just about anything that is Chris-chan or Sonichu related. Well, this is not your place to hate on what we have on here. And a lot of mods for just about any game are retextures and revoices, but you do not see anyone that is not a hater or bad complaining. I do not. There is no difference between skin and texture, because it's essentially basing off of an existing character base from the original game. Therefore, all of you Jule effing lovers can shut the hell up. But that said, this is a retextured mod of a DBZ fighter to represent Christine Weston Chandler Sonichu in her human form. You get her in 2 variants, her present attire and her classic shirt. They both respectively have different sets of voice clips, new ones that are memeable on the classic variant, and the modern one has 3 bonus voice clips within its folder, and they each are wearing the signature Sonichu medallion, even though it doesn't show so easy in the above photographs. Download today. Do not complain, comment, nor flag this mod, and enjoy. Okay? I, Sonichu Prime, have just had it about up to beyond 7 feet with his dimension and you poisonous lot. And I know you all are just laughing it up for the freaking lulz reading this. But mark my words, you all will be judged and sentenced by Christian herself, and the other deities as well. And one more thing, I genuinely am not on this website for any freaking points. I am only using this platform for sharing these add-ons with you all. Good day. The supposed Sonichu also wrote a comment defending his mod as a simple texture change and posted it to the accounts of at least 5 individuals who had seemingly left disparaging remarks on Sonichu's profile page. Sonichu's Christian mod was removed for improper crediting and wrong category placement 3 days after publishing.
Damn, that sucks. Wah, wah.
On December 16th, in response to a news article on Twitter which stated that a statue commemorating controversial Confederate General Robert E. Lee in Virginia would be replaced, Chris, using her alternate Magichan Sonichu account, wrote in reply that it should be replaced with a statue of Christy Weston Chandler Sonichu. 2 days later, Chris has Sonichu using Chris's account wrote a thread claiming that they intended to work with an expert modder who could help him create playable levels in Sonic World, modeled after Quickville, and possibly Charlottesville as well, among other scenery concepts. During this time, Chris modified and published another Sonichu mod for Sonic World by recoloring Cirrus Fire's Sonichu model to mostly white and calling it a shiny Sonichu, inspired by the rare shiny form of Pokemon, with the distinction of having the shiny Sonichu mod retain the voice acting as recorded by Cirrus Fire in 2017. On December 17th, Cirrus Fire wrote a comment on Sonichu's Game Banana page, complaining that they did not give permission for Sonichu to repost their original mod with just an altered voice pack, and could have instead only created a new voice pack mod that could be added to Cirrus Fire's original mod.
Okay.
Very well.
That's crazy. Is it weird? I want to play.
Game Banana removed Sonichu's Sonichu mod because he did not have sufficient permission to release it.
Dang.
On December 19th, Chris's Discord account was temporarily kicked from the Sonic World Discord server, with the administrator clarifying that it was because Sonichu had been stealing mods without permission.
Wow.
After receiving a warning, Sonichu rejoined the server.
Seriously?
On December 20th, the supposed Sonichu wrote a long Twitter thread addressing the so-called stealing of mods. He wrote that he wasn't stealing since he was giving credit to the original creators of the mods in the descriptions, and that he was learning how to use 3D modeling software like Blender and Frag Motion so he could have more control over original mods, but was finding it difficult to learn all the intricacies of the programs. Sonichu further admitted that some of the details contained within the mods she used that were created by others had some stylistic errors, which he was not presently able to adjust, but thanked Cirrus Fire and Sacktree for their efforts regardless. He apologized for being perceived as an erroneous mod thief, but explained that he still had much to learn, given the fact that he was born as a Pichu in 2003 and had many times defended Quickville, in addition to helping out Planet Earth and checking out other dimensions. He closed by stating Christian's followers ought to have been grateful for the recently recorded expressions for the Christian mod, such as references to Blue Spike and Christian winning the Sonic the Hedgehog Sega Sweepstakes in 1993. In response, Cirrus Fire wrote on Twitter, dismissing Sonichu's apology, highlighting that as he understood, Sonichu thought he was justified in republishing Cirrus Fire's slightly altered mod because Sonichu had made a shiny Sonichu mod with Cirrus Fire's voice recordings. On Christmas Day, Sonichu through Christine's Twitter account wished her followers a Merry Christmas, repeating the greeting in Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, German, and Russian. On December 26th, the supposed Sonichu confronted Cirrus Fire over Discord direct messaging for having his Sonichu mod removed from Game Banana. He defended Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, German, and Russian. On December 26th, the supposed Sonichu confronted Cirrus Fire over Discord direct messaging for having his Sonichu mod removed from Game Banana. He defended himself by stating that he gave Cirrus Fire proper credit in the description, was in fact Sonichu Prime, on whose likeness the mod was based, and that Christine owned their intellectual property and all that. Sonichu reasoned that he believed they were on good terms since the mod was a non-profit bit of data that was updated and made better by the very being on which the mod was based, a gesture which he assumed would make the original modder feel honored. However, Cirrus Fire's so-called misconduct made Sonichu feel rejected, and was willing to listen to any possible resolution. Cirrus Fire explained that Sonichu's reasons for legitimacy did not give him permission to repost the mod he spent many hours on, and would have gladly allowed for him to release a standalone voice pack mod for Cirrus Fire's Sonichu mod. Sonichu complained that by releasing a voice-only mod, people would not know how to implement it into the game without Cirrus Fire's mod, making it worth as much as garbage. He told the modder to ponder and stew over his ungrateful and selfish actions, or he will be judged upon by Chris herself. Cirrus Fire wrote back that the model was his alone, and Sonichu was not justified in retexturing, plus Sonichu's reposting was against the rules of the Sonic World's Discord server. He told Sonichu to ponder and stew over being ungrateful and selfish for not being satisfied with a Sonichu mod that was meant for everyone to enjoy, and noted that in the case of making a voice-only mod, Cirrus Fire's mod could have easily been linked in the description. For this confrontation, the administrator for the Sonic World Discord permanently banned Christine's account from the server. Meanwhile, on the Place Discord server, Sonichu revealed that all major troll personas of Christian's past, including Blue Spike, Blanca Wise, and Giuliani, were in fact in Dimension C197, chronicling all the trolls that were playing as them in Dimension 1218. This also included Clive Cash, who was no longer human, and instead a really damaged, red Sonichu. Sonichu called for this revolution to be posted on the QB Farms, with the expectation of having multiple people reevaluate their respective personas. On December 27th, Sonichu wrote to the Watchman that Chris's mother Barbara scared him because she continued to sleep even though the two family dogs barked and howled loudly in the same room as her, while she could hear Sonichu from upstairs. He further noted that Barbara's face as she slept scared Sonichu. The next day, the supposed Sonichu wrote to the Watchman that after lengthy meditation, he learned about the Avatar state, a defense mechanism seen in the Nickelodeon animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender, which was introduced to him by the troll Isabella Loretta Janke. When asked about her, Sonichu told the Watchman that Bella was a friend of the group Prater, who had recently created an animated video introduction for Christine. Watchman Nova called the animation gratuitously porny, possibly alluding to the numerous shots of Christine's skirt, giving the audience a glimpse of her white panties. Sonichu did not want to judge Bella for her stylistic integrity, and commented that she was cool to talk with. Later on, one Tom Campbell over Twitter reached out to Christine's account, asking if she or Sonichu would be interested in being interviewed for his audio documentary on Sonic the Hedgehog, perhaps mistakenly typing Chris's name as Chris Kruss. Sonichu replied tentatively with vague interest, while also clarifying that Chris Kruss was one of Christine's self-counterparts from a universe dominated by the worlds of Dragon Ball Z.
Are you serious?
On December 29th, the official Twitter account for the My Little Pony-themed convention, BabsCon, announced that due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the convention had to be delayed again, now scheduled to be held in April 2022.
Damn.
45 minutes after the announcement, possibly in response to these news, Chris Sonichu wrote in the place, as well as publicly on Twitter, that the merge was on, writing that they reached the apex less than 12 hours before, and that he and Chris's body were doing their part in focusing their power and energy into the event. On January 1st, 2021, the alleged Sonichu wished on Twitter for Christine's followers to have a happy year 2021, and for everyone to stay safe and well in the days ahead. When asked about the whereabouts of the dimensional merge, Sonichu replied that it was right in front of them, but the user's clouded judgment, dense with cynicism, prevented them from seeing and feeling it fully. On the 3rd, Sonichu received a package from a troll, which consisted of a bottle of wine, a bag of gummy candy, a jar of dill pickles, and a 5-page letter with names of individuals Christine was to contact. Later that day, the troll, using the alias Miss L, text messaged Christine's phone, asking about the package. Miss L claims to be the assistant to the Grand Master of L-Anon, parroting the concept of QAnon, an apparent high-level U.S. government official that initially posted on 4chan regarding President Donald Trump's battles against the cabal of satanic cannibalistic pedophiles that were the true rulers of the entertainment industry and the government. Sonichu wrote in reply that he read through the partially rain-damaged letters and took note of the gifts. He expressed his trepidation at continuing communications on the count of the association past trolling sagas had with Pickles, and also the use of Anon, meaning anonymous, in the group's name. He claimed that Magichan, Chris, and other psychics and deities knew generally who Miss L was, and foresaw all possible futures concerning her, and with some hesitation, Sonichu agreed to continue the correspondence. The next day, Miss L replied, explaining that L-Anon was a shortened form of the society's original French name, translating as the Anonymous Society of the Transreality, specializing in other worlds and dimensions. Miss L told Sonichu that they would submit a letter of membership in his name to the society. Later that day, she updated Sonichu with an alleged list of Twitter handles of other members of the society who were interested in speaking with him. Meanwhile, Sonichu transcribed the letter he received and sent it to the Watchman for consideration, which largely consisted of L-Anon's previous experiences with alternate dimensions. The Watchman immediately dismissed the letters and package as a trolling ploy, but Sonichu intended to carry on speaking with them. Nova suggested that Sonichu should reach out to Null about Miss L, but Sonichu instead insisted that they should keep this a secret from Null until they found out more information by themselves, because their intentions may still be pure, given the lengths they went to by sending Sonichu gifts, which the others highlighted could be purchased from any given gas station for $10. On January 13th, the troll behind the Miss L Trollsona began contacting the supposed Sonichu under the alias Larry Vaughn, modeling and naming himself after a supporting character in the 1975 film, Jaws. He portrayed himself as another member of the L-Anon Society, expressing his excitement at Christine or Sonichu joining them. Over the next couple of days, Vaughn encouraged Sonichu to contact a number of people via Twitter direct messaging, under the guise that they were all members of L-Anon. Sonichu was coached in what to say, and if the Twitter users expressed not knowing about L-Anon, Vaughn told him that they may be speaking in code. When Sonichu asked for a more identifiable message to send them instead of "Mr. Vaughn sent me," Larry Vaughn requested that he send them a pseudo-biblical quote focusing on King Solomon of ancient Israel. However, respondents continued to respond to Sonichu's words with bewilderment. Vaughn claimed that confused expressions simply consisting of the word "what" were a sign that the Twitter users understood. Sonichu expressed his annoyance at coded messages. Sonichu and Vaughn's conversation also revealed that Sonichu had been tasked with messaging German lolcow Rainer Winkler, also known as Drakenlord, who was contacted in German concerning contacts with characters in other dimensions and other versions of himself. Chris S. Sonichu also publicly on Twitter asked Winkler to respond privately. The Drakenlord's Twitter account turned out to be a troll creation. On January 15th, Larry Vaughn ordered Sonichu to contact all Twitter users from the provided list a supposed ciphered message, which purportedly detailed a secret meeting that was to take place. The coded message was in fact a segment of a lewd letter to a desired female written by 1920s serial killer Albert Fish. The text Sonichu was to send read, "Tell me when you want to do number 2. I will take you over my knees, pull up your clothes, take down your drawers, and hold my mouth to your sweet honey fat ass holes and XXX, XXXX, XXX. Eat your sweet peanut butter, and as it comes out, fresh and hot. That is how they do it in Hollywood. You won't need toilet paper to wipe your sweet pretty fat ass, as I shall eat it all. XXX, XXX, XX, XXX of it, then lick your sweet ass clean with my tongue." Sonichu requested a non-explicit version of the ciphered message instead. Vaughn claimed that the deciphering machine members of the society used required the specific characters of the message to be arranged in the order of that paragraph in order for meaning to be correctly decoded. Vaughn insisted that everyone receiving Sonichu's message would understand. Among those contacted with the Albert Fish quote was YouTuber Rogue Internetman, who at the time was primarily creating Christian content, who tweeted out screenshots of Sonichu's messages, theorizing that Christine's account had been hacked. A couple of other Twitter users also shared their screenshots of seemingly Christine sending them unusual messages. Null understood this as an act Christine was coaxed into doing by a troll, and advised her against bringing attention to her messages concerning excrement consumption. On January 17th, Sonichu brought attention to her messages concerning excrement consumption on Twitter, citing them as a voluntary mistake, and apologized for it. Null then criticized Chris for bringing attention to her messages concerning excrement consumption. The supposed Sonichu wrote back that the apology had to be publicized in order for the so-called tie-cutting to commence, while Null wrote back that this only gave the troll attention and would hurt Christine's reputation in the long run, hoping she would show more restraint in the future. No matter if their true intentions were for better or worse, Christine would prove time and time again that she would only listen to those who encouraged her beliefs of an idyllic universe that could right all her wrongs and change her life for the better.
Yeah. Jeez. It's glitchy, yay, cool. The fact that Chris still mentions Megan after 80 parts is so upsetting me. Like, why? Chris not being able to admit he's fat while calling other people fat will always be funny to me. She's never changed one bit, despite changing her gender. Chris using the persona Sonichu to chastise other people for obsessing over sex is fucking hilarious. It's so surreal seeing George Floyd in this documentary. It feels like we should still be 10 years in the past, not in the middle of the pandemic. It's so weird. Can't believe that. Not being Chris Chan is my biggest achievement to date, literally. I've seen cult leaders with actual followings that have less of a god complex than Chris. That's crazy. Chris denies being a man-child in the third person while pretending to be possessed by Sonic OC. Then slanders a late detergent spokesperson for his fictional mayoral term in a fictional city that he created. All of which being a random meme made by people 10 years ago. Hearing Chris voice act as Chris is surreal and almost feels self-aware, I swear. Gito probably has the most job security of any YouTuber. At this point, he probably should. I was once excited to see the end of the series with Chris going to jail and never being heard from again, but the multiverse is different plans, I guess. I can't help but imagine Barbara listening to Chris recording these voice lines and probably questioning if she's already died and is currently in hell, literally. I am not a narcissist, self-proclaimed goddess of OC of OCs, and self-proclaimed alicorn, too. No advice against bringing attention to her messages concerning excrement consumption. On January 17th, Sonichu brought attention to her messages concerning excrement consumption. Absolutely genius script writing. The comedic timing's on point. I love it. It's fascinating that Chris is still just as obsessed with this combination of Pikachu and Sonic today as he was 25 years ago. It's honestly impressive that Chris Chan's art skills have not improved one iota in 20 years. Confirming that Billy Mays was mayor for a time is such a wild thing to hear after all those videos denying it. Now that Chris is back uploading videos, I feel sorry for Gino. Yep. 10 months later, still uploading. Kinda weird. When you think the story will have an ending, it won't! Chris's obsession with Megan is really sad. Megan is really the only genuine friend Chris ever had, and Chris ruined the relationship. That's why he keeps bringing her back up time and time again. Some small part of him knows this, and as his life keeps getting worse and worse, he'll keep doing it, literally. It's scary. Alright, last one. I'm just gonna watch it get more good. Man, I'm in the 80s now. What the fuck? Can't even...
What's fascinating?
What's fascinating,
This is the story of Chris Chan.
You can barely hear any of the words he said there. They were not intelligible one bit. That's insane.
On January 16th, 2021, Sonichu, supposedly still in Christine's body, discussed with members of the Place Discord server, or Watchmen, his recent chats with a troll calling himself Larry Vaughn, who had convinced him to send fake ciphered messages of lewd content to Twitter users who claimed were members of the LXXX secret society. Sonichu claimed that his sending of ciphered messages was an act of quote-unquote testing the field with Larry, and that he in fact did not manipulate Sonichu, who needed to send the messages to confirm his, Mewtwo's, and Magichan's suspicions that he was a devious actor. He added that the Sonichu medallion producing merchandising team, Prater, had nothing to do with the Al-Anon troll, apart from a supposed phone conversation they shared sometime prior. On January 18th, Sonichu wrote a long Twitter thread describing Christine's actions since her and Sonichu's body swap some 9 months ago. She wrote that Chris, along with her spouses Magichan and Crizel Rosechu, traveled back to California to attend the My Little Pony convention BabsCon in 2020, in a timeline where the COVID-19 pandemic never took place. However, upon their arrival, on a fated event, Christine was forced by Magichan to enter a paused timeline to exercise her soul and abilities like telekinesis and teleportation. She leveled up to a point that she could move planets with her mind, soul, and aura. Over the many months that had passed in Dimension 1218, Chris only experienced a millisecond and got promoted to the ranks of Emmanuel, Buddha, Jesus, Zeus, and the like. The alleged Sonichu expressed protection of himself and Christine's body still remaining in their current dimension, but was confident that a transition between dimensions was coming up. Sonichu closed by alerting the official Twitter account for Hasbro that it was too early to air the current Generation 5 My Little Pony TV series, and that seasons 10 to 14 of the Generation 4 series
telling it to executives,
as was allegedly commanded by prominent leading characters of
what the hell? Okay.
the series. On January 20th, Democrat politician Joe Biden was inaugurated as the 46th President of the United States.
Dang!
Sonichu posted a photo of President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence's campaign poster lying discarded on the ground, regarding Trump's defeat as his death in many ways, claiming he was not and would not ever be sorry for stating it as so. Meanwhile, Chris has Sonichu and continues to see him amicably converse by text message, with Vaughn sharing with Sonichu his experiences with holidaying in Florida and engaging in sexual dalliances with a female anthropomorphic wolf who possessed substantial mammalian protuberances, and posted artwork depicting such a creature. Sonichu later commented that she was a lovely wolf, but he was personally not that invested in large breasts, claiming that Rose's and Christine's D-cup-sized breasts were enough. Behind the scenes, Sonichu was scheming a ploy in revenge of Larry Vaughn's trollsome deeds, as highlighted in messages with the Watchmen. During this time, Chris or Sonichu got the assistance of troll Isabella Loretta Janke, who, under Chris's understanding, trolled Vaughn for intel, and apparently successfully retrieved some of the troll's personal information, such as his full name and phone number. Bella was also the probable source of screenshots of messages Larry had sent to a believed confidant, in which he allegedly revealed that he was the sole troll involved in the LXXXI scheme, and was using Chris to troll other people, and further laid out future trollsome plans. Vaughn supposedly unveiled plans to write a ransom letter claiming Magichan was being held hostage and fed nothing but semen, cigarettes, and liquor under the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at the Disney World amusement park in Orlando, Florida. Christine was to, among other things, travel to Disney World. Vaughn would later claim that Bella in actuality had played a part in helping him manipulate Christine, and that they cooperatively composed Magichan's ransom letter. Indeed, one of the text message screenshots appears to show Larry telling Bella to tell Chris to message a certain Twitter account about a greeting in Portuguese, wishing for the celebrator's day to be filled with the biggest penises, largest ejaculations, and endless streams of peanut butter-like excrement. Larry also revealed that Bella had been helping Christine contact his Manchester high school gal pals. However, outside of Chris's knowledge, Bella was allegedly telling the gal pals to change their personal information every few years to help prevent Chris from contacting them. Furthermore, Vaughn confirmed that he and Caden of Prater had held discussions after being introduced to each other by Christine, and that Caden seemingly supported Larry's trolling plans, and even opted to paying for the plane ticket to Florida.
Oh my gosh.
On January 22nd, Larry messaged Sonichu to regretfully inform him that his past problematic behavior against minorities and women made members of LXXXI uncomfortable, and that they were no longer interested in having Sonichu as a member. Sonichu sarcastically expressed his disappointment before cryptically hinting at his knowledge of Vaughn's true identity. Vaughn then sarcastically threatened to report Sonichu to the cyber police and expressed fear in being reported and risk losing his job. Sonichu then formally cut ties with Vaughn. Later on, Sonichu, using Chris's Twitter account, revealed that it was Larry Vaughn who had made him contact several Twitter accounts with messages concerning excrement consumption. Sonichu claims that he, Chris, Magichan, and others had foreseen his actions years in advance, but had to do as he told as to not trigger the worst timeline event. Christine as Sonichu then shared the leaked conversations between Vaughn and the unknown second party, which revealed his future proposed trolling plans. Sonichu closed by stating, "But aside from Vaughn the a-hole, not just this person, but that people who have nothing better to do with their time but to harass Chris and me are pathetic. Chris was just trying to take care of Barbara and living day by day without hurting anyone else, aside from her being destined to become a literal goddess and everything. But hater people like that guy. He has a job at a Virginia vineyard and travels around, has a family who he neglects for his big-breasted wolf waifus and shit. Why was he so interested in trolling us? Dumb neat he was. Again, thank you and have a good and safe day. Lightning bolt, yellow heart, lightning bolt emojis." 2 days later, Sonichu wrote in the Play's Discord group that his comments had left Vaughn scared for his livelihood and forced him to stop his trolling ways. He thanked Bella for her help in supposedly trolling Larry for intel, commenting that she was very intelligent. On January 27th, Sonichu notified Chris's Twitter followers that he took part in a so-called Heavy Meditate Hour, in which he mind games with apparently everyone, and showed them around the highlights of the Earth in Dimension C-197, including a visit to Marvel character Doctor Strange, and MLP-associated characters Discord, Mary Sue, and Gary Stu. He later wrote that he was enjoying G Fuel brand energy drinks to keep hydrated, in addition to drinking water from a water bottle containing crystals. On January 30th, Sonichu noted that during another Heavy Meditate Hour, he and his mind-linked companions were able to analyze the avatar state that Chris's body could at times attain, as seen in the animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender. He added that the first 2 photos that were shared by the first trolls on somethingawful.com depicted a moment in which Christian at the game place was playing a trading card game while in the midst of an avatar state, brought about by his former best friend Megan Schroeder apparently kissing her gay male friend. At the end of January, Larry Vaughn and Christine's Twitter accounts squabbled over Vaughn's short-lived trolling saga, with Vaughn claiming that Chris and Caden, the leader of Prater, were convinced by his scheme, and that both believed he was a rich Jewish person they could milk for moolah, or money in Fijian. Larry also claimed that Chris was planning to hire a private sleuth to investigate the troll. The alleged Sonichu retorted that he knew Vaughn was a ween, or a low-effort troll, but decided to go along with his demands to made a spectacle. Larry wrote back with the allegation that it was not Chris writing Sonichu's tweets, but rather Caden, and that neither Prater nor the Watchmen were in any way effective in their stated goal of protecting Christine from trolls. On February 1st, Joshua Moon, or Null, the administrator of the Kiwi Farms, proposed to create a limited run of custom-made silver coins for sale with Kiwi Farms insignia as a means to help promote and fund the website. After initially planning to have the coins feature the kiwi bird or kiwi fruit, Null settled on producing coins depicting a profile portrait of Christian to commemorate the site's origins. Soon after deciding on the design, Null requested that Christine send him a profile photo of herself.
That's where Barbara got
it from, Sonichu then sent him a half-profile selfie of himself. Also on the 1st, Sonichu wished on Twitter a happy February, noting that each and every day of the month contained 5 heart emojis of different color, and not just February 2nd, or Groundhog Day, denoted by
what
beaver
the fuck
emoji,
does that even...
February 14th, or Valentine's Day, denoted by red heart emoji, or February 24th, or Christine's birthday, denoted by lightning bolt and hedgehog emojis. On February 2nd,
you mean
Sonichu
Christian
wrote
Love
into the
Day?
Place
What about
Discord
that?
server that he had a dream which ended with him almost having sex with a Sonic the Hedgehog character, Sally Acorn, a squirrel, and that as a consequence, Chris's body woke up feeling ravenously sexually hungry. Also on that day, Chris asked
Why did you
Sonichu
just turn
the
black
Watchmen
there?
if
What
they were
happened?
aware of the possibility of using piezoelectric crystals and stones to open interdimensional portals.
Literally,
The
what
wizard
just
of the place
happened?
told him that piezoelectric crystals could produce sparks, to which Sonichu replied with a link to an article from the website Gaia.com, detailing the allegation that ancient ancestors possessed the ability to access other dimensions in areas rich in quartz and deposits of other
That's
piezoelectric
some
materials.
bullfuck.
After the Watchmen dismissed the article as a load of hooey, Sonichu asked for their guidance in finding a portal that could successfully bring Christine's body into dimension C197. The alleged Sonichu then shared with the server a private text conversation with an unknown party, who was attempting to help him with a possible use of a piezoelectric machine in their possession. After elaborating to the unknown party of Chris's powers of importing hundreds of millions of souls into her infinite storage capacity, Sonichu
What the
revealed in
hell?
the conversations that in order to open the interdimensional portal, he would have to use 2 large crystals, which he dubbed a celestial key, and a gate
You mean
crystal,
your
which he would
balls?
electrify
Sorry.
with a taser. The Watchmen were not convinced by his findings, so Sonichu asked them to find better sources which disproved Sonichu's claims. On February 5th, Sonichu, using Christine's body, contacted leader of the Watchmen, Not, over Discord to let him know that the portal between dimensions 1218 and C197 would evidently be created with the use of piezoelectric capabilities of quartz and lightning strike quartz, and would use a taser
What
on
the
the so-called
fuck?
ACH crystal during his proposed meeting with Praetor founder Caden the following day.
Why?
Caden had in fact purchased a taser for proposed future videos in mid-November 2020. Not, in an attempt to create more distrust in Praetor, posted a transcript of his messages on the QE forums. On February 8th, Caden, using the official Praetor Discord account, addressed the worries the Watchmen had concerning the use of a taser into the Play's Discord server. Caden
Sounds
claimed
about
that the
right.
idea was concocted solely by Christian and without their encouragement. Supposedly, Christine confirmed this as fact, much to the disbelief of the Watchmen. Watchman Kyle continually criticized Caden for enabling Christine to
Naturally.
go ahead with the plan, who assured the Watchmen that no harm will come to her. Sonichu confirmed this, as Chris's body was half Sonichu, meaning that it was electric resistant. Kyle told Sonichu that he was not an
well.
electrical engineer, and should further
Then
look
take a
into
bath
all
with a
likely
toaster then.
consequences.
I'm joking,
Sonichu
don't do
replied
that.
he, Chris, Magichan, and Mewtwo have looked into all possible outcomes and have duly prepared for the event. After persistent criticism from Kyle, whose concerns were always shot down by Sonichu, Caden began to ridicule him and make light of their conversation. The chat eventually devolved into spewings of random access humor from the supposed Sonichu, who before long departed to the discussion. Later that day, Caden returned to the Discord server to further
That sounds
discuss the
about right.
taser plan with other Watchmen over a voice call.
Really and truly, putting the taser to the crystal was my own idea, and I got it through meditation and seeing into the future.
So where's the ground in that circuit? Just thinking about it from an electrical perspective.
Well, the taser itself is a closed circuit. It's all contained within a little box. You know, it's a handheld zapper. We don't use anything that's, you know, firing, any projectiles. That's just not
Yeah,
only
because you keep on erroneously calling it a taser when it's in fact a stun gun.
I don't want to bust chops over
Stun gun.
semantics here. When I bought it, it said taser on eBay. So we bulk ordered them for the original purpose of sale. There's 10 of them right now. Depending
It's
on
me
how
trying to
soon
learn
initially
violin
went,
for
we
the
were
first
considering
time.
Another order of 10 to 20. But you know,
With someone else playing
it's
guitar in
always
the
based off
background.
what happens in this next coming month, right? Well, I do get why you're concerned about the safety of CWC, especially when it comes to the usage
That G did
of
not
a
sound
little
very
zapper
good,
like
but
that,
whatever.
right? But
Not too bad for my first time playing violin, that's for sure.
that not only
Don't downplay it.
Yeah.
Don't downplay it. A little zapper.
I need
Not
to
to
do
fucking self-defense
more.
instruments.
well, if you don't want to downplay
Chris
it,
has had
I
more
will.
That was
problems
just
in
a
the
C
past.
major scale,
Well, I
a
won't
simple C
downplay it.
major
I won't
scale.
downplay it. These things are brutal. But if you're using them correctly, you have
It's
no
not
chance of being
too
zapped
hard
whatsoever. And
so far.
frankly, we recognize Christine as an adult who can make her own decisions, and the fact that she requested one of these tasers, we thought that we'd let it happen, and we'll continue to let what she requests happen, unless it's something that's an absolutely out of proportion judgment. But we've never, ever seen anything like that in our personal experience with her. We have full faith
Okay.
in the choices that she's making, and if she feels that this taser will bring about the dimensional merge, then we're more than happy to experiment.
Or at the very least, a portal for me to finally get this body to quit it.
What do my eyes
I
look
really
like
don't
that?
think that's going to work like that.
Well, you don't
Well,
know. You can get sonar by running electricity through just a regular, non-sulfurely powered quartz. That you
That's
get a
'cause
whole
it's
lot
a
more
dis-
after a heavily programmed, overpowered one.
IMO,
Uh-huh.
you don't need that thing.
You really don't.
You really
I
need
mean,
to
unless you're
prove.
defending yourself from a predator, I don't think so.
A gun is more effective in self-defense, but that's obviously not what we're talking about here.
No.
A gun? No, you do not want Christina to own a gun,
And
trust
Ken
me.
here will vouch for
Nah,
that.
she's gonna
And so
kill
come to the floor
someone.
On feeling the gate crystal, and then after sensing the gate crystal and the boosted energy that came out of it.
You got extensive experience tasing yourself, Caden?
Well, you know, I've zapped myself a couple of times. I wouldn't sell something if I didn't know what it felt like, and it doesn't
True.
feel good, I'll tell you that.
Maybe
I'm
I should
sure
do
that's-
it in a
I should
video.
shoot myself in the head to see what a gun feels like.
Caden is the salesman, but the other members of our group here, Caden, Owen, Bell, and Annabelle, and Cabell. Anyway, so yeah, we have a couple of genuine psychic types.
There's been lots and lots of people that could have made a bug of Chris. They didn't. Why?
Well, because they weren't smart enough.
Yeah, exactly. They're stupid. Duh.
Do you really believe that?
Actually, that's a valid statement right there.
Ha!
We recognize the value of partnering with CWC. We recognize the value of her talent and what she brings to the board. Now, I understand the controversy we've raised, but frankly, we don't intend on really moving that much. We're very pleased with where we are, right? Now, if you have grievances, we're happy to hear them, and we love feedback, you know, regardless of how much it hurts us.
Interact with the retards who buy shit. I think it's that simple. What I said earlier, you know, if you want to be a businessman or whatever, interact with people, keep the optics up, and that's pretty much it.
Chris, why do you trust these people?
Because they have proven
She's an
themselves
idiot.
in person. But they're kind
Because they bought you things.
No.
Yeah.
That's the reason, though, isn't it?
Not initially.
Not initially.
They proved that to us without buying us anything. Okay.
God.
Not initially.
I'm going to come
That
with
is the
anger,
truth.
bro. I swear to
Eventually,
God.
yes, that did come to be, but they have proven themselves very much.
So you're going to choose them over us. Is that how this is going to go?
Let me just say, our goal is not to take anything. Our goal is not to be, you know, just screwing with Christine. Our goal here is just to make cash with her as a partnership, right?
Exactly.
Now, why don't you pay her more?
Well, we do.
The income split is kind of
They paid
fucked.
me $400.
Yeah, it really is.
About a few weeks ago, they paid me $400.
We're
Out of
doing
the 6,000 they made.
So like, where the fuck does this whole Vaughn and Miss whatever her name is, where does this come
Oh,
into?
that was a whole totally different thing.
The Vaughn person is an entirely different person. We have no clue who this idiot is.
His name is Daniel. He lives. The majority lives in Virginia. He works at Martha's Vineyard. He trucks around sometimes. He's lived in
Fuck
Vegas.
even-
His number was from Vegas, and so forth.
From
And after we
Vegas?
confirmed all that information that we had foreseen.
Confirmed
we
with
got
who?
the drug
Confirmed with
follow-up.
who? Confirmed with who? So confirmed the information with who? Who confirmed that information?
Exactly.
All right, well, Bella confirmed the information, but don't tell anybody outside this group about that. She
girl.
told us, and that
Well, it's
allowed us
being
to
recorded,
connect with you two,
sorry.
with Magichan, and with Christine here, still in my body. This is still Sonichu Triumph. See one nice time of talking here. 10 months in this body.
You're a total fucking faggot, Caden.
Wow.
You will be, and I guarantee you by the end of the night, I'm going to be speaking to your mother and telling you how terrible her son is.
Honestly,
damn.
if you end up getting me a paddling from mommy, I'm gonna be so upset.
I hope you should be.
Honestly,
I
it started
probably-
out trying to be really nice, but you quickly kept getting more and more suspicious and creepy and mean, and
Why do we have to have all this sarcasm and negativity talking shit?
Right.
But it's fun.
Sometimes-
Like, it's a laugh. Like, it's a laugh and it's fun. Like, it's people fucking with people
Oh, it's a
for laughs, yeah?
It's funny.
Time Mr. C picked an argument with Chris. She failed at arguing back.
While the full recording of the Discord
Sheesh.
call remained unpublished, an edited 1-minute segment was shared by Knott on February 8th on the QE Farms, with the intention of implicating Prater as wanting Christine to get tased.
And
Not
what
even-
are you
Damn
gonna do
shit.
the testing video you promised?
The testing video?
Can CWC like tase himself on video for lols?
Well,
I'll do
really-
it.
What?
I'd volunteer.
What?
Of course you would.
I think
Damn, that
I'm
last.
serious and a joke. I would.
Look, are you sure? Like, we had
That's
a whole discussion
crazy.
about why
Oh,
it's a
no.
bad idea. We'll talk about this later, okay? I really gotta go before we make any rash decisions that involve CWC being zapped.
Obviously. But I mean, this body is part of electricity, literally. So it can take it.
Shut the fuck up.
Since Knott only mentioned Caden and Chris as members of the conversation and implied that the taser was to be used on an individual, this led to forum members into theorizing that it was members of Prater that were considering Christine tasing herself as a possibility, causing increased hostility towards the merchandising group. Knott then also shared Caden's personal information with the farms. Not long after, Quick-centric YouTuber Gibby discussed
Yeah,
the leaked
not
conversation
long
in a
after?
video, further propagating the falsehood that the person suggesting Chris should be tased was a member of Prater. Christine left a comment on the video,
Oh, this
defending
person?
Prater and confessing that the idea of using the taser on the gate crystal and testing it on her own body was her original idea after having a vision and discussing it with the cosmos. Ultimately, nothing resulted
the
of the proposed
shy?
tasing of quartz crystals to open up an interdimensional portal. Around
Okay.
February 9th, Kwai Sandbag, a viewer of the YouTube series Christian, A Comprehensive History created by Gino Samuel 2.1, decided to reach out to Christine via direct
Okay.
messaging over the social media platform Instagram, masquerading as a psychic. The next
What the
day,
fuck,
Chris S.
man?
Sonichu agreed to talk with Kwai Sandbag over Discord.
Of fucking course,
nice to
naturally.
finally meet
Yeah, it's nice to hear you too. So, yeah. How you doing, Cable?
you. Caleb.
Caleb.
Cable?
Somewhere else.
Girl,
Don't worry about it. People mess it up all the time. So, how can I help you?
Well,
Cable?
they're trying to figure out answers to many questions, like, this body has...
I'm gonna call my cousin
a great
Caleb
amount
that from now
of
on,
superpowers
Cable.
and overpowers, and I've been meditating on everything, and it's been meaning this body is destined to go literally, physically, fully, safely, hopefully, into our sister dimension, which has all the OCs and FCs, original characters, fictional characters, including those of, like, Sonic the Hedgehog, Superman, Donald Duck, Iron Man, so on and so forth.
Yes.
So,
So I think what would be very beneficial is if we did a meditation session together.
okay.
So I want you to turn off the lights
Turn off the lights?
Yes, because we need to hone in on the spiritual energy.
All right, well, I'll turn off the lamp, no problem. A moment.
If you have a scented candle, now would be a really good time to light it.
Man, I don't have a scented candle.
It's okay, we can manage without it. So what I really want you to focus on is channeling your inner strengths.
Right.
So I can sense just by talking to you, you're a very, very powerful psychic. And
yeah.
I'm very curious because I've never really met anybody who has similar abilities to me. What can you read anything
what the
off
fuck?
of me
Are you on
right now?
drugs?
Well, first off, I can definitely further confirm it. You sound like you're in your late teens or early 20s.
That is correct.
And you sound very curious and intrigued with the answers that you have found and what you had foreseen recently within your recent visions, and what you will get from us from what we're talking about and what we meditate on and discuss tonight.
So I am going to kind of hone in on your physical being and try and contact your... Is there any way, like, without meditating, I could talk to Chris?
Well, you're pretty much astral projecting into the neighboring universe. It's not into the spiritual plane, but you would be, but it's tough to explain.
I'm currently sitting on my yoga mat, which is really good for meditation. Are you sitting somewhere comfortable?
Yeah, I'm sitting on the bed.
On your mom's
downstairs bedroom, and I have my lovely wife Rosie Roach next to me, and then Chris in my body is sitting on the bed as well on one corner.
Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I am going to project myself into Virginia, into Ruckersville.
Okay, you want to specify on... There's a gazebo in the backyard that we believe is a dimensional vortex that we're still working on developing. But this house is a temple.
Yes, I see. I can see it now. I can see there's cars out front. I can see your mother's in the house.
Oh fuck.
Chris's mother's in the house.
Right, Chris's mother. Is she well?
Yeah, she's in her late 70s, but she's healthy, alive, and well.
Well, that's phenomenal.
Not really well.
It's always great to hear about people doing well. Can you see me? Can you see my spirit?
I definitely sense you. I believe you are in the room with us. You're at the foot of the bed.
Yes, that's where I am.
Yep.
Okay.
It's bullshit it.
Breathe in very deeply and breathe out. I'm starting to see a picture. I can see Christine. She has a job. She has income. She can spend it on whatever she wants. I see a world without disease, and I see.
That's fucking insane. You gotta say what Chris wants to hear, bro.
Do you have pets?
2 dogs and a bunch of cats. 3 of them inside presently. But in that case, you are mostly right. Although Christine's profession is that she's literally a goddess. She is the CPU of the Commodore consoles and the nation of Quickville, with the city of the same name within that, and that's all within the state of Virginia.
Yes, I see. I've never heard of this place before, but it might mean something to you. Fashion Square?
Yeah, that's the shopping mall in Charlottesville.
And the name Michael?
Michael Snyder, yep.
Do you sense the trouble that I'm feeling?
Sense something. Discerning wave in the air, I think.
Yes. I sense wasted potential. I don't know who it is, what the vision is referring to, but I feel that there is something that we're missing.
You say wasted potential. Yeah, I would definitely agree partially to that because of this body, because it's pretty much stuck here within this universe, which is pretty much limited on magic, and by the way, this universe is called 1218. This is universe 1218 that we live in.
This is troubling indeed. I sense a great divide, or a merge.
Yes, a dimension merge. Because you see, previously, before King Arthur decreed that they wanted all magic removed from the universe, at the C1978-1218 were
where did you pull this out of? You're too fat.
What magicians were ordered to separate the two, and this is the recombining of those 2 universes. So the magic and everything would come back, and it'd be one universe again. I learned about this recently in bunches of meditation and looking into Chris's past life.
And what was Chris's past life?
Well, long story short, back shortly after Big Bang, she was a resident
on me like that, asshole.
Within the Andromeda system. She was a princess, and she was exiled, got transferred from over there to Earth.
What?
And, she was a princess, and she was exiled. The Big Bang, she was a resident on the planet Kiasuna within the Andromeda system. She was a princess.
Really?
And she was exiled.
How do you know it's in fucking Andromeda?
To Earth, and
how many of us even know
still
about
the same universe. She ended up having powers
let alone the planets
well above anybody else that were in the norm at the time. And this was shortly after the meteor hit and made the dinosaurs extinct. And she was essentially immortal. So she ended up also making friends with the deities along the way. And eventually she met Merlin during medieval times. And then eventually Chris changed the composition of her body to herself and the crystal and shot herself from way that year and went through various far reaches of space, times, and universes. And ended up also going through, flying herself through our chaotic rainbow of P197 in 2003. That's given her Sonichu form and electrical resistance and better abilities on that. And then eventually going back in time to 1218 and then being born in 1982. Her birthday's on February 24th.
Well, happy early birthday.
Thanks.
So, what I see is I see Chris coming to take her body back. And I see her making amends with people that she has either wronged or has been wronged by, sort of turning the other cheek.
That's not right.
So I would say I wouldn't get too comfortable in this physical body, Sonichu. I would say...
Yeah, I know. I've been in it for over 10 months now, so I figured, I probably want to get back to my body.
Do you think it might happen on your birthday?
You've been on drugs for 10
around
fucking months.
there, I'm fairly certain, if not sooner. I've also looked into this application called Faladin. I've looked at the tarot cards of clairvoyance and horoscopes part of that to get another perspective. They predict that, if not in February, it could happen in March. Or at least something of a further development will happen in March.
So I think this is a very good place to put a pin in it. Would you like to meet again next week, same time?
Fuck.
Sure, yes.
Sorry.
Brilliant. So, and with that, I will take my leave.
So, I'd say my impressions of you are pretty good so far, and I'm glad to find somebody who could actually help me further understand the powers and abilities, at least for a beginning perspective that we can further explore.
Of course. I'm happy to help. I wish you a very good evening and a healthy week.
You too. Be safe and well.
Thank you.
All right, good night.
Good night.
No, I don't think I will.
You can unmute.
On February 13th, Sonichu, through Chris's body, expressed his disappointment in the Watchmen for their play-bullying tactics against Prater, believing that they were not on the same page as Christine or himself, and were not taking the merge seriously. Watchmen Kyle, or Nova, further tried to delegitimize Gaten, questioning the legality and financial soundness of his corporation, while Maker Nightfee apologized for her previous antagonism, promising not to share any more out-of-context Discord posts concerning them, but told Sonichu to be wary. On February 14th, the supposed Sonichu wrote a tweet wishing Chris's followers a happy Valentine's Day and notified YouTuber PewDiePie that he was drinking a can of Lincolnberry flavor energy drink G Fuel, which featured PewDiePie as part of the drink's branding. Sonichu implied that at 1:55 p.m. Eastern Time, he drank the drink, an event which may have been simultaneously felt by the YouTuber. Also on that day, Sonichu and Kwai Sandbag held another psychic chat.
Now, what is it exactly we're trying to see?
Well, obviously, these hands are able to do a whole number of things that can actually help heal others.
How so?
Like I'll put my hand on somebody, on the shoulder of somebody who's feeling pain.
I don't even want to know what.
Pain, but they're not feeling it, but then I feel, but then this body feels a mild amount of that pain. I can also manifest objects with these hands, at least on the C197 side of the iron curve.
Manifest this ass! Sorry.
You know, just your typical fruits and apples and whatever else.
So bad.
Also, I can manifest universe and dimensional portals.
So, we're trying to get in touch with the other dimensions. Is that what I'm hearing?
Among which?
Obviously, we are not face-to-face, but let me astral project over to where your physical being is so we can be spiritually in the same place.
Right. Rosie's here with me, but Chris is not. She's with Magic Chan and Chris Savannah at the time. They've been spending Valentine's Day together.
That's nice.
You're phasing in.
Already?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I'm sitting exactly where I sat last time at the foot of the bed.
Yep. I see you.
Now, I'm reaching out towards you. Do you accept?
Yeah. I just grabbed your hand.
Great. Now, this may not work on the first try, but I'm trying to transfer some of my metaphysical energy into you to help you grow stronger, because I can always manifest a little bit more. So let me try and send over some positive energy and help you conjure physical beings from another dimension in this dimension.
Okay.
I feel it.
You do?
Yeah, I mean, I got my left hand open, hoping to manifest an apple from C197 to here.
Well, let me try something a little smaller than an apple at first.
What the shit?
What, like a ping pong ball or a candy bar?
Sure.
Alright, I'm gonna go for a ping pong ball.
Let me know if you can conjure it.
C197 side, I can definitely see it in the hand. Okay. But I think I might be accidentally manifesting a golf ball instead of a ping pong ball because it feels heavier and I feel its impulse.
But you can feel it in your hand.
Benoit balls.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Like I said, though, it's on the C197 side, but it's gotta be tangible here in this universe. But yeah, I'm holding out the left hand. I'm holding out the left hand. Are you seeing the golf ball in it?
I'm starting to see the outline. Can you see the outline?
Yeah.
And you can feel it?
Yes.
Good.
This is what's called cocaine. Cocaine.
Only really tangible on the C197 side. Not here in this universe.
So I've been speaking to a community of psychics that I'm close with, and we are trying to find a time that would work where we could all help you.
Oh, yes.
We feel that a large group meditation where we all try and channel our spiritual power can be very, very, very beneficial.
I hear that. A lot of things this body does involuntarily, like, 24/7, 365 plus 1, it's constantly in meditate.
Yes. So I'm also sensing tension right now.
Yes.
I sense the spirit of another in the room.
Oh, Rosie's in here with me.
No, someone who has passed on. Someone close to you. He has gray hair. It might be your father.
Well, Mr. C's not here right now. You might be talking about Merlin the Magician, because he and Chris had a thing going on back in the medieval days, and we literally have this soul in this body with the 568.6 million other souls and entities that are stored within the conduit portion of this body. If you're sensing another cell, a catch is entered.
Oh, yeah. Now, I did a little bit of research about you because I wanted to be more acquainted with, like, personal details, and I stumbled across a quite lengthy documentary on YouTube.
Probably Genius Sanyo's documentary, so he just made episode 51.
Have you watched all of it?
Yeah, Chris and I are caught up with the series.
Do you like it?
Yeah, for the most part, just not counting the NSFW parts and the totally personal parts. But then again, of course, Christine was the only one to blame for actually putting all that out there about herself.
Yes.
That's a whole different kettle of fish a long time ago in the universe, right here. I made a little joke.
Okay.
Yes, well, I also took a second to browse the quickie, and I think you, Christine, are, or I guess you, Sonichu, are really just Christine, suffering from imposter syndrome.
No, we literally did swap bodies, and this happened on March 31st. I mean, the only way you could have really verified this for yourselves is if you had been there, and you could just, I mean, it literally happened. My soul left my body, and her soul left her body, and we were right next to each other in the bed, and we just entered the other body, literally.
But I thought Sonichu was in the C197 dimension.
I was before the body swap last March.
Well, then how would you be in the bed next to each other?
It's like being near yet so far. I mean...
That literally don't make sense.
I look forward to talking with everybody else in the psychic group, and hopefully we'll get something going on soon enough.
Okay. I would probably just make, like, a direct message group chat.
Cool. Well, I guess I'll let you go then. Thanks for your help.
Of course.
Finally.
Have a great night, and I will talk to you later.
You too. Take care. Good night.
Good night.
No matter if their true intentions
Finally, it's
were for
fucking
better
done.
or
Shit,
worse,
almost.
Christine would prove time and time again that she would only listen to those who encouraged her beliefs of an idyllic universe, which could right all her wrongs and change her life for the better.
Damn, shit. Baby! It's getting glitchier. Shit, dude. Kaden, Chris is an adult and I trust her not to tase herself. Chris, 2 minutes later, I'll tase myself! Look how far Gina went to not say for a wolf girl with big boobs. The taser discussion is truly bizarre. You have these two groups discussing pace splits, safety and need of self-defense, whether they're exploiting Chris or not. Then Chris is just chiming in about his crystal quartz portals and how Mewtwo verified the information physically. Some real altered reality shit. The part where Gino paused when saying that Chris felt ravenously sexual after having a dream made me feel sick. Shit's been foreshadowed for ages. Substantial mammalian protuberances absolutely send me. I literally, what the hell? The faded of Bob right before Chris, and no, it's probably Merlin, and it shows Merlin in full detail, had me in tears. I gotta see it again, hold on.
No,
yeah, you can see Bob.
He has gray hair. It might be your father.
Well, Mr. C's not here right now. You might be talking about Merlin the magician.
Okay, that's funny. I legitimately can't process anything Christine says at this point. Like, it just slides off my brain. I don't even have a brain for this at this point. To be entirely fair, Kaden has the voice of someone who sells snake oil out of a little stall in a Midwestern cowboy town. He absolutely dominated that tasered conversation with evil salesman charisma, literally. Not gonna bust chops with over semantics! You can tell Chris's experiences with boobs largely revolve around anime and/or porn. By that, I'm okay with small boobs like a C or D cup. Big does not mean larger than one's head unless you have porn addiction brain rot. Holy shit, Chris gets told he gets a job in the future and immediately makes it clear that he thinks the job is being literally goddess, and he won't go looking for a job ever again. I like how Kawaii Sandbag just comes out of nowhere and gets Chris to stop being Sonichu. That body swap saga felt so long. Like, what was that for? It's kind of hilarious how Chris actually bought that entire psychic act when their life is literally documented on like 3 or 4 different websites. It's unbelievably sad that Chris is so gullible and detached from reality, but I laughed when she corrected Kawaii to clarify the gray-haired spirit into Bob wasn't Bob, but Merlin. Still makes me laugh that Chris can't fully commit to a Sonichu bit. It's like he forgets he's playing pretend anytime his delusions are questioned, a bit drops. Hearing Chris's handlers discuss whether or not they use a stun gun on him, it's like a business meeting, is so surreal. Like it's a business meeting. The visual edit here where the psychic troll tries to gingerly bring up Chris' dad to discuss something real with Chris, and Chris immediately squashes it and says, nah, you're thinking of the fictional wizard Merlin slew me. I love it when Kawaii Sandbag pointed out the mistake Chris made when saying Sonichu was laying in the bed next to him. Chris just completely ignored it and changed the subject when he couldn't come up with a lie fast enough lmao. Their intro getting more and more glitchy gives me goosebumps. Almost there to the event that broke our timeline, I can't deal. Almost at the beginning, that darked out Chris made me so scared. It's like I'm watching the documentary slowly turning into analog horror. It's literally. I think it's getting more broken as Chris gets more broken. Yeah, probably, most likely. Chris Chan, the literal embodiment of I reject your reality and substitute it with my own. The fact they actually discussed letting Chris use a taser to zap a crystal to open an entire extra dimensional portal is insane. It's so sad that at this point in time, the only way to get Chris to listen to you is to play with his delusions, which can arguably make it worse. You can't just say, Chris, for God's sake, get help. You have to say, I'm a magical psychic and I am reading into your future that shows you talking to a therapist. Literally, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. I'm so glad I'm finally fucking done with that. God damn! We are getting closer to the promised day. and I'm terrified. Obviously, the uploads are gonna be way late, because, like, I still have so much more to upload. I'm like uploading-wise, I'm like 50 episodes behind, but, because, like, today, I think I just uploaded 55 to 57. Because literally an hour ago, I uploaded 31 to 33. That's what, so, yeah. I am, like, way behind right now. It's September 9th at the moment I'm recording. Oh my god. Anyways, that's all for today, my Jumpsters. If you like this video, you better shout that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you like me in general. That's all, folks. I'm out. No, that's nothing.